Well, David, obviously we've got a new government now in office for 5 years with a single party majority. What do you think their priorities should be for helping the East Midlands?
Okay, so first of all, I think it's good that we've got a bit of stability around a single party government. I think we were slightly concerned a coalition would just take a lot of time to sort all that out. Regardless of colour, I think single party is quite helpful. The first thing I think is really important for the East Midlands is we need to get on the map. So we have the challenge of the South East and London always pushing ahead and always seeming to be a sort of destination of choice. The Chancellor very wedded on the Northern Powerhouse, and I think the East Midlands and the Midlands generally needs to really have a loud voice. The second thing I think we would ask for is we need to get on with it. LEPs don't meddle. I think they've proven themselves to a certain degree so far. The money is now coming through the single pot. We need to get on with the job. The East Midlands economy is doing pretty well. We think we can accelerate that over the next 12 to 18 months quite rapidly. I'm concerned about people meddling in some of that. Business-led, let's get on with it, lead the way forward. We've got a plan, let's execute it. And the third thing, and that's a real story of this government, is about devolution. And I think we would like to see the levers given closer to the local area so that we can not only apply money and investment, but also some of the strategic priorities through some of those levers of growth.
One of the things you said just then was that you've got to shout louder, basically. You've got the northern powerhouses, you've got the southern economy growing very quickly. How on earth do you make your voice heard? What do you do?
Okay, so I think D20 has done quite a good job over the last couple of years in getting its voice heard, and we're working quite closely with the other East Midlands LEPs to do that. We've got to have a clear what is special about this area, and I think it's three things. Connectivity, so centre of the country, great connectivity, nowhere's further than 3 or 4 hours away by road. The second is about manufacturing and engineering, real high quality manufacturing engineering. And the third area is innovation, really good innovation, knowledge economy, links with universities. They are our three key selling points. But I also think the East Midlands needs to work with the wider Midlands area. And I think that will be a real agenda for us, is about how can we work well with the West Midlands, particularly on that engineering and manufacturing element. And I think that's going to be a real big piece of work over the next 12 months.
That's an interesting point because, in the past people have said the big problem with East Midlands, if you come to devolution, is there isn't really an East Midlands identity. No one really thinks of the East Midlands. So you think joining up with the West Midlands and being the Midlands would be a way forward?
I think joining up is good, but I want to be clear that I think this has to be a staged approach. So our first call for devolution is across the D20 area. We've got some real assets in this area. We've got a plan of what we want to do. It is important that some of those levers are delivered to our local authorities, to our combined authorities that we are proposing to go forward, to the cities, but also to our rural areas as well. So that's important. On the basis of that devolution, I think there is any conversation about how we can work well across the East Midlands and West Midlands on further devolution going forward. Some of the more strategic issues, transport, for example. HS2 is going to be decided on the eastern leg over the next 12 to 18 months. It is absolutely essential that we get a eastern leg in and a station in the East Midlands. Otherwise, we're going to lose our competitive advantage around connectivity.